I missed my brother. Saman was gone. He died last year. It was sudden, unexpected. One moment he was there, full of life, and the next he was just gone. The void he left behind was immense, and every day felt like a struggle to move forward without him.
Nora often thought about him. Their house felt empty. The walls echoed with memories of their childhood, the laughter they shared, the secrets they whispered. Every corner of the house reminded her of Saman, making it hard to escape the pain of his absence. It used to be full of laughter. Now, only silence remained. The once vibrant home had turned into a place of sorrow, where the silence was deafening, and the shadows seemed to grow longer with each passing day. Nora tried to be brave. She put on a strong face for her parents, who were also struggling with their grief. She knew she had to be their pillar of strength, even when she felt like crumbling inside. She focused on her studies. She helped her parents. But the sadness lingered. No matter how hard she tried to distract herself, the weight of her loss was always there, lurking in the background, waiting to pull her back into the depths of despair.
One evening I sat by the window. The house was quiet, and the only sound was the ticking of the old clock in the hallway. I felt a sense of calm wash over me as I watched the world outside. I stared at the setting sun. The sky was painted in hues of orange and pink, a beautiful reminder of the fleeting nature of life. It was a moment of reflection, a brief escape from the pain that had become a constant companion. The sky turned a fiery orange. It was as if the heavens were putting on a show just for me, a small comfort in my time of sorrow. I felt a connection to Saman in that moment, as if he was watching the sunset with me. Memories of Saman flashed in my mind. Our childhood adventures, the games we played, the dreams we shared. Each memory was a precious gem, a reminder of the bond we had and the love that would never fade. We used to watch sunsets together. It was our special time, a moment of peace and connection. Even though he was gone, I felt his presence beside me, a comforting shadow in the fading light.
A single tear rolled down her cheek. It was a tear of both sorrow and gratitude, a release of the emotions she had been holding inside. She knew that while the pain of losing Saman would never fully go away, the love they shared would always be a part of her. Little did she know, her peaceful life was about to change. A storm was brewing. The winds of fate were shifting. And soon, Nora would be faced with challenges that would test her strength and resilience in ways she never imagined. And it was coming from beyond the grave. The past was not done with her, and the echoes of Saman's life would soon resurface, bringing with them secrets and revelations that would alter the course of Nora's life forever. The phone rang. It was late. Nora's heart jumped. She hesitated before answering.
Hello?
A moment of silence followed. Then, a whisper. A familiar whisper.
Nora?
Fear choked Nora. She dropped the phone. It clattered on the floor.
Saman.
The voice on the phone continued. It spoke with urgency.
Nora, listen. The house. It's not safe.
The voice faded. Nora's mind raced. It couldn't be. Saman was gone. Was she imagining things? Or was this a message from beyond the grave? Nora couldn't sleep. The phone call replayed in her mind. Saman's voice, the urgency in his tone. Fear crept into her heart. She heard strange noises. Whispers coming from the walls. Footsteps in the hallway.
The house felt different. Colder. The air grew heavy. It was hard to breathe. Shadows danced in the corners of my room. I huddled under my blankets. I felt a presence. Something was watching me. I closed my eyes tight. I wished for morning. I wished for the nightmare to end.
Morning came. Nora felt drained. The events of the previous night weighed heavily on her mind. She had barely slept, tossing and turning as the mysterious phone call replayed in her head. The voice on the other end was unmistakable. It was Saman, her childhood friend who had disappeared years ago. His voice was filled with urgency and fear, warning her about the house. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. She told her parents about the phone call. They listened patiently, but she could see the skepticism in their eyes. They had always been practical people, not ones to believe in the supernatural. Nora's mother tried to comfort her, suggesting it was just a vivid dream, a manifestation of her stress. Her father, on the other hand, was more dismissive, chalking it up to an overactive imagination. They dismissed it as a bad dream. Nora felt a pang of frustration. She knew what she had heard. It was real and it was a warning. She couldn't just ignore it. The fear in Saman's voice was genuine, and it echoed in her mind, refusing to be silenced. Nora knew better. She could still hear Saman's voice. She remembered his warning. The house, it's not safe. Those words haunted her. She had to find out the truth, no matter how terrifying it might be. She couldn't let her parents' disbelief deter her. She had to take matters into her own hands.
The house. It's not safe. Those words echoed in her mind, growing louder with each passing moment. She felt a chill run down her spine. What could Saman have meant? What danger lurked within the walls of their home?
Nora decided to investigate. She started with the attic. It was a dusty, forgotten place. The air was thick with the smell of old wood and decay. Cobwebs hung from the rafters, and the only light came from a small, grimy window. She felt a sense of unease as she climbed the creaky stairs, each step echoing in the silence. She found old journals. They belonged to her great-grandparents. The pages were yellowed with age, filled with neat, cursive writing. As she flipped through them, she felt a growing sense of dread. The entries spoke of strange occurrences, unexplained noises, and shadows that moved on their own. They told a chilling story. Their house was built on cursed land, a place where tragedy and darkness seemed to converge. The journals detailed the history of the land, a history filled with sorrow and loss. Nora's great-grandparents had tried to warn future generations, but their warnings had been forgotten over time. A place of tragedy and darkness. Nora's blood ran cold. The more she read, the more she realized the gravity of the situation. The house was not just a home, it was a vessel for something sinister. She felt a connection to the past, a responsibility to uncover the truth and protect her family. Could this be what Saman was trying to tell her? Was he reaching out from beyond to warn her about the danger they were in? She had to find out. She couldn't ignore the signs any longer. The pieces of the puzzle were starting to come together, and she was determined to see the whole picture. Was their house haunted by the past? The thought sent shivers down her spine. She had always felt a strange presence in the house, but she had dismissed it as her imagination. Now she wasn't so sure. The house held secrets, and it was up to her to uncover them.
This can't be real, Nora whispered to herself, her voice trembling. The reality of the situation was overwhelming. She felt like she was living in a nightmare, but she knew she couldn't wake up from this. She had to face it head on.
But deep down, she knew it was. The fear, the warnings, the history, they were all real. And now it was up to her to uncover the truth and protect her family from the darkness that lurked within their home. Nora remembered something. Saman had been researching their family history. He was particularly interested in the house. Had he uncovered something dangerous? Nora searched his room. She found his notes. They were filled with strange symbols and diagrams. He had been studying the occult. He was trying to contact spirits. He believed the house held a dark secret. Nora's heart sank. Saman had been drawn into something sinister. His research had put him in danger. And now, he was trying to warn her from beyond the grave.
Saman, what did you get yourself into?
The weight of her brother's secrets pressed heavily on her heart. Suddenly, the lights flickered. The room grew cold. Nora felt a presence behind her.
Saman, is that you?
A cold wind swept through the room. The papers on the desk scattered. The air crackled with energy. Nora knew she had to escape. The house was no longer safe. She ran to her parents. She told them everything. The phone call, the attic, Saman's research. At first, they didn't believe her, but then the lights went out. A cold wind blew through the house. They could no longer deny the truth. They had to get out.
We need to leave, now!
The urgency in her voice left no room for doubt. As they fled, Nora heard Saman's voice one last time. It whispered in her ear, a faint echo of the past that sent chills down her spine. She could almost feel his presence, as if he was standing right beside her, guiding her through the darkness.
The symbol on the door. Destroy it. His voice was urgent, filled with a desperation that Nora had never heard before. It was clear that this symbol held the key to their freedom, the final piece of the puzzle that would end their nightmare.
Nora looked back at the house. She saw it, a symbol carved into the front door. It pulsed with an evil light, casting eerie shadows that danced across the yard. The symbol seemed to be alive, a malevolent force that threatened to consume everything in its path. Nora's parents called for help. The authorities arrived. They investigated the house, their faces grim as they uncovered the dark secrets hidden within its walls. The air was thick with tension, and every creak and groan of the old house seemed to whisper of the horrors it had witnessed. They found evidence of Saman's research. They found the journals in the attic, dusty tomes filled with cryptic notes and strange symbols. The researchers pored over the pages, trying to make sense of the madness that had consumed Saman in his final days. They believed the house was unsafe. They condemned it. The house was demolished, reduced to rubble and dust. The once imposing structure was now nothing more than a memory. a ghost of its former self. The symbol was destroyed. The haunting was over. The malevolent force that had plagued them was finally vanquished, its power broken and scattered among the debris. The air seemed lighter, the oppressive weight of fear lifted at last. Nora and her family moved on, but they never forgot Saman. His sacrifice had saved them, and his memory would live on in their hearts. They packed their belongings and left the house behind, driving away with a sense of hope and renewal. His warning had saved them. He might be gone, but he was still watching over them. From beyond the grave, Saman's spirit lingered, a guardian angel protecting them from the shadows. They could feel his presence, a comforting reminder that they were never truly alone.
Thank you, Saman. We'll never forget you. Their voices trembled with emotion, tears streaming down their faces as they bid farewell to the one who had given everything to save them. It was a moment of closure, a final goodbye to the past.
And with that, they finally found peace. The sun set over the horizon, casting a warm glow over their new home. They stood together, united by the trials they had faced and the love that had seen them through. At last, they were free.